we're back with another episode.
So I was watching this, or listening to one of Miss Pat's old podcasts, and she was talking about how she was like, yeah, she was talking about talking with the guy John Rattler, who actually like helped discover her, not discover her, but helped her get her TV show. And he's Jewish. And so she was like, yeah, she's like, I really didn't know anything about Jewish people. She was like, but then I could tell by the nose. And they were like, nope, stop, nope. And she was like, no, because they have like this particular, they were like, no, don't say anything about Jewish people.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
He was just like, our nose? What's wrong with our nose? She was like, you can just tell by the bridge of the nose.
So my only experience with Jewish people had been my it was either 6th or 7th grade of middle school. I went to Catholic school, and they were like, this is the year where we learn about other religions and how they're bad. So not necessarily how they're bad, but
but who do Judaism, people who practice Judaism, who do they serve? Isn't it God?
They serve God. They do not believe that Jesus was the Messiah. Except for the Messianic Jews. They do believe Jesus was the Messiah.
But what about the Hasidics? What do they believe?
Some hardcore shit.
So then they just believe in God himself, but not Jesus.
They believe in God. They believe the Torah, not the Bible. And I believe the Torah is like the Old Testament, not the New Testament, because they don't believe in Jesus.
Oh, okay. So Jesus is not their homeboy.
Jesus is not their guy. They acknowledge Jesus as a man. He was here and he preached some shit, but he wasn't the end all be all.
And is it because of the whole like crucifixion thing? Like they're saying that they didn't really crucify him. That he
we should really interview my friend Elizabeth.
Okay, this
that talked to you. She's like a fucking diehard Jew.
She's Jewish.
So when I was
We're recording, by the way.
Oh, welcome back to the Face Off podcast, your religious podcast. The only exposure I had ever had to Jewish people was when we were in 6th grade. We went to a temple because we were learning about other religions because all of us were little Catholic kids. And I just remember my teacher was like, we're not here to defend ourselves. Yeah. We're not here to debate anything. We're here to learn. Mm-hmm. So if you have inquisitive questions that are just to learn about these people, then ask them. But, let's keep it fucking kosher, not to be punny. And this fucking girl stood up because they, you walk in and they separate you because boys sit on one side, girls sit on another side.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. And we're sitting there and the rabbi was like, do you have any questions? And this girl she raises her hand and she goes, since you don't believe Jesus is the Messiah, who do you think is the Messiah and when will he come?
Oh my.
And I was like, oh.
That's too much.
It's too much. Then, didn't know any Jewish people. I got to high school. Half my small high school was Jewish.
Really?
So, like, on the Jewish holidays, we'd basically have holidays because no one was there. And one of my best friends in high school, Elizabeth, who you talked to on the phone for the podcast thing, she is, like, just this beautiful Jewish princess of a person. I love her so much.
I don't really know that I know any other Jewish people other than, what's the RT? I can't remember his name. But anyway, the yarmulke.
Is his name Joseph?
Joseph, yes. It's a yarmulke, right?
Yeah, that's a yarmulke. Good job.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only Jewish person. First of all, it's hilarious that he's Jewish because you think of Jewish people as like these like very, but kind of conservative, but like very religious. Every other word, he's like, fuck you. Fuck that. It's so funny, but he's not a person who just like sticks his religion like in your face or anything like that. He's just a regular guy, so I wouldn't know he was Jewish unless he wore the yarmulke. But I don't know anybody else that not that I'm aware of that they were actually Jewish.
Well, the Jews are cool. I fuck with the Jews.
I mean, I fuck with everybody.
They celebrate Purim, and it's like Jewish Halloween, but on a random day. It's so cool.
But do they dress up like?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
We need to interview.
I know Oprah did a special on like black Hasidic Jews.
That's interesting.
Yes, and I was like, Jewish people can't be black. But then it was a very small like community of them, and she went into their house. They actually cooked her dinner or whatever. She asked them all these different questions, and they had very similar core values as, I guess, quote unquote regular Jewish people or whatever, or non-Hasidic Jews. And they were talking about like when it's the woman's time of the month, how the husband doesn't either sleep in the house or the woman doesn't sleep in the house or something like that, but they can't sleep in the same bed for a certain amount of time because she's unclean and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But it was very interesting, the episode, though.
Yeah, the coolest thing about the Jewish community to me has always been how they're just like riding and dying for each other, and they're all about conservation of their culture. They're like, they try to fucking get rid of us before, but we're never going to let it happen again. So my friend who was Jewish, you're always going to Jewish summer camps. You're enrolled in Jewish day programs. You have friends who are Jewish. You're going to, like, they just are so about preserving their culture, their religion, their community.
Even financially, I think one of the reasons why they're so, why they have so much wealth is because when you talk about how many times their dollar circulates in their community before it actually goes out. And their dollar probably circulates, I'm going to throw out a random crazy number, 100 times before it goes out, before it leaves their community. Versus black people, it don't even rotate once. Like white people, I think
the blood rotation is not.
Exactly. But I think there's also a whole lot to be said about, you know, the Jewish population and kind of the things that happened back in history. And, you know, we won't go into that. But anyway, welcome back.
Welcome back to the Face Off
I don't know
Pod.
if I'm going to keep any of that, but we'll see.
I don't know. That is one of the most interesting things, though. I love.
Yeah, we need to get her on the podcast, though.
I love other religions because it's just like you are so programmed to yours.
Yeah.
And you have such a emotional tie most of the time, either positive or negative. It's an emotional tie to your practicing religion or the one you grew up with. And it's so interesting to see like what other people were taught growing up, how they feel, how they operate, what the church looks like, what their beliefs are. That shit's interesting.
Yeah, I think too, like one thing about Jewish people that I have seen just from afar as a spectator is that they don't try to convince you to believe what they believe.
No, and they're exclusive club. You get with it or get lost.
And I've never seen, like, you know how you have Jehovah's Witnesses that will knock on your door? Even Christians will knock on your door. Jewish people are like,
Do you know how hard it is to convert to Judaism?
Oh, I'm quite sure it's insanely difficult.
You have to do a lot of shit. And
it's probably the same thing converting to Muslim religion or Islam.
It's not like you can just be like, you know how in Christian churches you're like, I felt it, the spirit, I've claimed it.
I want to be a
Jesus is my guy. I would like to go to church here. And they're like, get on up here. It's you.
Right.
No, you have shit that you have to do and prove and classes you have to take. They don't fuck around with it.
No, I agree. And but it should be like that. If you're gonna have a religion, like whatever your standard is for your religion, keep it that way and don't let people change it. I think part of the problem is everybody wants to be so inclusive. And in certain areas in life, you can't have inclusivity because when you have inclusivity, unfortunately, people will change the very DNA and strand of that particular thing. I mean, it's just like, well, I don't want to give you any examples anyway, but I'll just say that and I'll just leave it at that. But
I just think that makes everyone more informed, educated, tolerant, and unique. If I can understand what's special about you, then I can also see what's special about me and why we're different and how we're similar and that.
And all the religions really are the basis of all religion is the same. It is having something or someone who is higher than you, and not in the sense of like, oh, you're a peasant, but just that you have a higher power, a higher being
hold you accountable.
That holds you accountable to be a good person. I think every religion at the very, very end, or when you break down all of the traditional stuff, it really is just for that purpose. It's just be a good person. That's it.
Same. And I have a Sagittarius moon, so I'm like, just give me all the information. Let's travel the world. Everyone can be who they want to be. Let's just all be respectful and nice people.
Yeah. Well, we didn't mean to go off on that kind of tangent about that. I don't know why, but you heard it. Welcome back to another episode, y'all. How was your week this past week?
You know what? Let me tell you how my week was. I have worked 12 days in a row, was off one, worked again today. I'm extremely exhausted. This job is funny to me. I've at work taken the approach of like I'm on a reality TV show. And everyone,
like you're in a mockumentary?
Like I'm in a mockumentary or like an episode of Housewives or something, and everything I'm doing is recorded, but then I get to go back and talk about it and be like, wasn't that crazy? Didn't you guys see that? And I can recap all. So it's really, that's really turned my days around.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's like the bullshit isn't bullshit anymore because I'm like, oh, it's bullshit, but it's content.
Yeah, very true. I did tell you that too. I was like, when you went somewhere yesterday, we were like, oh, we're going to go record. And I was like, yes, please. Because I was doing my floors and stuff. And I was just like, don't talk to strangers. You were just like, well, if I don't talk to strangers, how can we get content for the podcast?
Amen, sister.
So then I said, talk safely to strangers. So yeah.
And it made me remember that I forgot to tell you about my Peru massage experience.
You got a massage in Peru and you would barely get one in America. Please, let's discuss.
Buckle up, everyone. So
Alyssa doesn't like massages.
I don't like
for
people touching me without my consent, my explicit consent. Amen.
I mean, you have to make an appointment.
My body, my choice.
Therapist.
So I finally, it took me a long time, but I got a massage therapist here in the United States.
Yeah.
He's he was perfect. His name was Khalid, and my mom gave him explicit instructions not to touch my neck, so we got along swimmingly.
Perfect, yeah.
And so just, you know how massages are here, like you're draped, they kind of undrape you a little bit, like very professional. Okay. So we're in Peru, and there were 3 of us. One of us had never gotten a massage before, but we had just climbed fucking mountains. And I was like, you know what? The hotel has a fucking spa. Yeah. I'm going to go get a massage. And one of the girls, my friend Jillian, bless her fucking heart, she was like, Jillian, I've never gotten a massage before. What is it like? So I'm just telling her, like, they're very classy. Like, they drape you the entire time. They're just kind of rubbing on your legs and your arms. It's really relaxing. If I can do it, truly, anyone can do it. So she's like, okay, so there's 2 beds in one room and 1 bed alone. And she was like, I don't want to be alone. And my roommate Katie was like, well, I'll be with her. And I was like, I don't have a problem being alone. I'm a badass bitch. I can take care of myself. So I'll go in a room alone. So I'm in this massage room alone. I'm laying down. The lady comes in. She's super nice. And you know how your head's down and you can see their feet through the hole? So my head is down on this massage bed, and she's rubbing my shoulders, and I'm just looking at her feet, and then I just see one foot disappear. I'm like, that's fucking weird. And then the other foot disappears. She is on top of me in the bed. What? Rubbing on, and I'm like, what?
Was she a tiny lady?
Hell, she wasn't like super tiny, like you couldn't fit in the bed with me. And she's rubbing on me, and all I can think is like, what the fuck is going on? So she's rubbing all up and down me. She literally is just like crawling in the bed with me. She then takes my legs. She's like stretching my legs out, rubbing up my, like, you know how they kind of rub on your booty a little bit here? Yeah. No, she's like full rubbing my ass.
That's what I pay my massage therapist for.
Ma'am.
He gropes the cheeks, and I just be like, adding another tip.
Listen, my arm like falls off the side of the bed. I'm shell shocked. Don't even know what to do. She picks up my arm, like flops it back on the bed. I turn over, and you know how you're draped in the front, like whatever. So she's massaging my legs, all this stuff. She just pulls the entire fucking sheet.
No,
like I have tits out, everything. You know how your eyes are closed, and I'm like, I can't open my eyes. My tits are over.
Did she put it back?
She pulls my right arm and throws it across my chest, and she pulls my left arm and throws it across my chest. So I'm just like hugging my titties, hiding myself. And then, ladies and gentlemen, she literally takes her fingertips and she's like tip tapping on my stomach like it's some fertility ass massage. I don't even know.
Why did she take off the drape is my point.
So she could rub on my stomach. Then she's rubbing like my pelvis.
Okay, like, don't lift your shirt up.
Sorry,
for the
on the camera. She's rubbing my pelvis, like massaging almost my cooter. And all I could think is like, this bitch next door has never gotten a massage before. I don't know what's going on over there. This is not normal.
I think she was trying to give you a happy ending because that never happens to me.
She was at my uterus. I was like, did I get a fertility massage?
You probably
Does she think there's a bun in the oven?
Oh, you're pregnant.
Anyway, I had forgotten that happened and we hadn't talked about it. But
that is hilarious.
And then she just like walked away and was like, what did she whisper to me? She was like, okay. And then walked out. And I was like, what the fuck?
Did you tip her?
Hell yeah, I tipped her. She's grabbing on my ass and fucking touching on my tummy.
Well, that's what I do when I go get my massage, my 90-minute massage. Like he goes like on my glutes. He gets in my glutes. Not in my glutes. On my glutes. Like everything. But I like even when he flips me over, like because I obviously have huge boobs. So they're always like gravity is pulling them this way. And so a lot of times I'm like, you better watch that little Drake there, buddy. I mean, if he climb on top of me, honestly, I'm not going to stop him. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I think it was mostly her climbing in the bed that I was like, hey.
Now, when he's massaging my legs, like he will prop my leg up in a certain way and then he'll kneel on the bed. But first of all, my massage therapist is like 6'4", probably like 290.
This lady
so he can't get in the bed with me.
Inside of the bed with me. Like when I'm on my stomach, she spread eagled me in the back to climb in my little, like in between my thighs. Like she's in the fucking bed. And that's when I was like, there's something not right over here.
No, you should have got a meal out of that.
At least.
That was a good time for her, but not for you. That's
God
hilarious.
Damn. So yeah.
Oh my God.
How was all that to say? How was your week?
My week was actually pretty good. Thankfully I have, by the time this comes out, I had yesterday off, 4th of July.
That's some shit.
And, but I mean, I'm still working. So I basically started this last week. I was really not feeling very good because I felt like my body was trying to come down with something, but I think it's my body just really just detoxing from a lot of the crap that I have been eating for a long time. Anyway, so I feel much better now, and so I'm actually doing I took out all this carpet, ripped up all this carpet, y'all. I'm doing a DIY. I ripped up all this carpet to put down laminate flooring myself, and I was like, okay, I got me, YouTube, and Pinterest. We just gonna work it out. And I am like halfway done, but it is a chore. I just want to say this to all the YouTube DIYers. Fuck y'all. Because you're a liar. You're liars. Right. And there's no way that y'all have full-time jobs and are doing all of this DIY stuff. No. And then you're putting out a video every single week. You're liars. You're liars. You are liars. I don't believe it. I literally have been on my hands and knees for the past 2 days, from Saturday and then today, Sunday. I finally took a shower before you came over here.
Thank God.
I know. Oh girl, I was stank. Oh God, it was horrible. And I literally ate a bowl of cereal yesterday, and I was like, crap, I only ate cereal. Let me go get some pizza. So I got some pizza. So,
dude, I've been in a cereal mood lately. That's a good choice.
Well, I'm not
because it's so damn
cereal.
hot.
I'm not supposed to have cereal at all right now.
Why?
Because it's not it's not nutritional at all.
Well, but it's nutritional to the soul.
It was, because it hit the spot last night.
It does. Sometimes you're just like, I want a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, I did. And it was Cheerios too, because when I went to Walmart,
Honey Nut?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Well, not the regular Cheerios. You have to put a bunch of sugar in that. But I was gonna get something less healthy, but I was like, no. This is a temporary situation. You're only doing this because
This is a temporary solution to a
permanent problem.
A permanent problem.
But anyway, so I've been doing my floor. I'm almost done. When I say I'm
permanent solution to a temporary problem. Yes. That's what they say. Sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. So yeah, I'm halfway done with the floor. I'm probably gonna call it a night tonight and then just try to finish the rest of it on 4th of July, because that's not my holiday. My people weren't free on July the 4th, 1776. So it doesn't.
You're not proud to be an American.
No.
Where at least you're free.
Where we weren't free. Your ancestors weren't free either.
Half of them were. Actually, they're Catholic. They were being treated like shit, truly.
Catholic people were treated like shit during that time?
Yeah, they came over. They were being treated like shit. I don't know significantly, historically, where that falls, but it did happen. Yeah. Please don't come at me if you know history.
We're not historians. That's not what we're here for.
We're not here to be your political, historically correct podcast. We're here to talk shit and have fun. So if that's what you're here for, let's do it.
I did have at work, my coworkers and I, oh my gosh, working from home is fun. It's really fun. It's only fun because you get to have separate conversations and go off on the stupidity that happens during the day.
Have you ever seen the show The Circle?
No.
Because that's what I imagine working from home is like.
Oh, I've seen the first episode where they I've seen the first episode.
But how you're just chatting with people, but you're having your own life, but you chat with them to tell them whatever you want about your personal experience. That's
or we're asking questions about, our particular work and stuff like that. So it is a bit fascinating, but I just know that I probably won't be able to go back into an office again because I've been so vocal about, you idiot, you're an idiot, and having the freedom to say what I really feel and be able to put myself on mute. That's been amazing.
Do you have different kinds? Do you feel like you have different personalities for different work friends?
Absolutely. I don't consider any of them friends, but
okay.
Yes.
And it's easier to do that because you're online.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen these people in real life, so the only image I have of them is their voice and their little avatar picture that may or may not be real.
That's so weird.
But you build a work bond with them because you call them all the time. And it's basically the people who started with me during training and stuff. And so you get to know about them and their families and their lives and stuff like that, but you never meet them.
This is just like a Black Mirror episode to me. And you're being catfished. Yeah. But at work.
And if I saw these people in real life, I probably would not be able to identify them.
And you also probably wouldn't like them.
No, I'm quite sure not. They probably wouldn't like me either.
Do you know how when you're
well, the two that I talk to on a regular basis, I would like them in real life.
You know the feeling of you find someone on social media and you're like, you're so cool, and then you meet them in real life and you're like, I can't stand you.
Yeah. I think because we're very because we all started together, we come from different walks of life. It makes it a lot easier to communicate with them, and we're all on the same page about the same stuff that happens to us on a regular basis. Your job? Pretty much. I mean, it's not that we hate our jobs. Yeah, but
it's not that we like our job.
We just hate stupid people. The job itself is not bad. It's just when you deal with stupid people on a regular basis who don't know what they're doing, that's the part that's frustrating.
And I'm not saying stupid people shouldn't be given the chance to have a job and make a living.
They shouldn't be in leadership, though.
But there are so many stupid people doing jobs that directly affect me. And I just don't understand that part because I'm not a stupid person.
Exactly.
So how did I end up around all these fucking idiots?
That's why I say our parents lied to us. well, I would say my parents lied to me, because there's no way you worked the same job for 30 years and didn't shoot up the place. There's no way. I see how people go postal, because there's a breaking point. But one thing that I've realized, though, by working at this job is that if it does not directly affect my assignment for the day, I'm not going to worry about it. Like I had a staff meeting, well, not staff meeting, but a meeting with one of my supervisors this week. And not to go into too much detail, but she asked me a question, and I already knew. Here's the thing about corporate America too. Corporate America either wants one of two things. That's all they're going to want. Either you want resolution or you want checks and balances.
Okay.
Right. So when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody to discuss something, your only agenda is going to be either to resolve it or to just check the box and move the fuck on without any plans to resolve it. So based off my conversation with my manager this week, I was going to give her this whole spiel, and then I was like, no, let's allow her to talk and say what she wants to say. It was clearly a checks and balances, because we were only on a call for 3 minutes, and the questions were just like, yeah, so how's this going? Great.
What's working?
What's working well? What's not working well? What things would you change? And it's just like, okay,
do you have the resources you need to do your job effectively?
Exactly. And that to me is a checks and balances.
It has to be.
So if you start off with conversation like that, I know, and I take that mindset, honestly, that mentality into friendships, relationships, the whole nine.
Yeah.
You're either here for resolution or you're here to just check boxes. And if you're here to check boxes, my response will be accordingly.
I'm going to bring that same energy.
Exactly. That's and if you want to resolve, then we can go further in depth. But other than that, I'm only going to give you one word responses. How's everything going? Great. Any suggestions? I have no further suggestions or observations. That's it. That's all you're going to get.
Well,
so, I mean, but it's great, because that's a level of maturity.
That takes it off of you.
Yes. And you learn how to do 100% of your job, because you get 100% of your paycheck, and I'm doing nothing less and nothing more than what I'm getting paid.
There's a freedom that comes with that.
Yes.
Just doing your job.
But to a degree, in patient care, you can't do that.
You can't. No, yeah.
Because you have lives
every day.
Hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and people are so damn nice. Or they're,
Yeah. And or the family members are just really nice, and you're just like, they buffer. There's a buffer that's there. But when you don't work with actual people's lives, there's very seldom a buffer.
See, the buffer is what keeps me going, because I'm like, God damn, I do not want to do this. But
yeah,
your mom is so nice, and she's in there every time.
That was just like at the party that we went to, or the get together, and I was talking to KJ, and I'm like, yeah, when we used to work together, and she'd be like, "You want to stand?" No, KJ,
I don't.
No. But then the patient's like, "I really would like to try standing."
That's the worst. When you in your head, you're like, "I'm not standing this fucking thing."
No.
And then the patient's like, "I haven't stood for 6 weeks, and all I want to do is stand up, and I just think I can do it." What are you supposed to say? No. Let's lay back down. No, bitch. You're like, hey, I think you're a fucking total ×2, and it's gonna break my back to even lift your hips from this bed. But goddamn, let's try it.
Try. Exactly. And see, and where I work now, there is none of that. So I can politely no. No.
And that's all it is. Or
I can just not respond. Like, when I tell you the freedom in not responding to emails, here's what I want to say about corporate America. This is not where we're supposed to be going with this episode. It's going to be an episode that's all over the place. Anywho, but you're going to enjoy it. Here's the thing about freedom in corporate America. If you ask me a question, or you respond to me about an error that I need to fix, or we're having dialogue, if we are having dialogue and I'm the only one that can fix your issue, you CCing people on emails is only going to allow me to not respond to you. Like, I get it. There are sometimes you have to CC people on there, but if you're talking directly to me, you CCing extra people on emails is basically making me feel like you're trying to call me out in front of or call me out to the carpet, and all I'm going to do is not respond, and I'm not going to engage.
Meanwhile, at my job, when you email me and CC my director, my boss, I'm like, God damn it. Immediately I have to respond.
No.
Because guess what? The email is probably like, I need info about this patient for this thing because it's life altering and we need to get these things moving. And I'm like, shit.
Exactly. Because you got a buffer. I don't.
And you're like, damn it. I have to, because in the back of your mind, you're like, I could not respond to this. Yeah. But if I don't, it's an immediate chain reaction. They're not going to get this, which means they're not going to get this, which means they're not going to get this, which is directly going to make them depressed and debilitated.
Yeah.
And I don't want that on my conscience.
Yeah. And see, I don't have that part at my job. So like, there was a situation that happened where it's a very simple fix. It's super fix, easy fix. And sometimes you just forget on both sides. And so a person reached out to me and was like, hey, in order for me to do this, can you just go back and double check that? And so I was like, sure. But then I looked at it and I was like, you tagged 6 other people on this email.
Fuck you.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait 2 hours until it's almost time to go to respond back to you. I didn't do that. But anyway,
but if I did do it,
then that would be very different. But yeah, I just think stop emailing extra people. If I'm the only person that can fix your issue because of whatever my job description is, stop CCing everybody else, because you're bringing people into a conversation that don't need to be there. They can't even fix it. Number 2, even if you just say, oh, well, they told us they need to be aware of it. Why do you need to be aware? You can't fix it. Mm-mm. Like, it's stupid. So again, I just don't give any energy, and I will just respond with one word. Thanks.
So your work week's been going well.
Yeah. I've unlocked a new level of freedom.
Good, because you just don't give a shit. Mm-mm. I love that for you.
I don't. Well, anyway, let's get into this episode.
Let's do it.
So, first thing on the docket, it's 30 minutes into it.
Great.
So anyway,
great.
We talked about everything from Jewish people to work.
I just love America. Jewish people. I don't know what to tell you.
They're amazing people.
Can I tell you? Okay, last story about Jewish people.
Oh,
and this is probably where my love stems from. My grandfather was in the military. He was traveling around, met my grandmother. They had babies. They ended up moving back to Philly. Mm-hmm. That's where he's from. Mm-hmm. And they were in this Jewish neighborhood, and my grandmother and my grandfather now love Jewish people because they're like, oh, all the Jewish, like when it was Christmas time, all the Jewish kids would come and we'd all decorate the tree together because they'd never had Christmas and da-da-da-da, and then we'd go over there and all of these things. So I think I've just been indoctrinated to love Jewish people.
So if it were a black neighborhood, would it be the same?
Can you imagine if my Nana could braid the shit out of my hair? I just had box braids all the time.
That'd be amazing.
She was like, I just love those little black kids. She probably call them Negroes.
We would definitely call her a different time.
She
colonizer.
She's like, I love, she's just making greens.
I have tons of black friends. I have tons of Jewish friends.
God, I love that for Dixie. That would be great.
That is so funny. All right, so first thing on the docket, remember we talked about last week how the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Do you remember that time that the Supreme Court said women's bodies, fuck them? How you feel at work when you're like, not my issue.
Not my issue. I'm still that way. Not my issue.
Not my circus.
White people problems.
Not my monkeys.
So basically, the backlash from it has been, just raging, right? But also too, which I'm very shocked and surprised, is that the amount of vasectomies and the vasectomy appointments has skyrocketed since the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
But do you think it's like a woman's foot in the sand vasectomy, like you're getting the shit or we're done, or do you think it's like a scared male vasectomy? Like,
I think it's a scared
shit.
male, and I think it's forced upon by women saying, if you do not get a vasectomy, I'm no longer having sex with you. All right, I'll make the appointment. That's literally what I think it is.
Yeah.
I think there may be some men who were like, you know what, I'd rather go and get snipped because at least mine is reversible, and it's only, my recovery is only 24 to 48 hours. I just got to put some cold sweet peas on my balls and I'm good. But true. I don't think it's an overwhelming amount of men who are standing in solidarity. But I did see
I don't think so either.
No. I did see a lot of people removing their American flag from their houses.
Really?
Since the overturning of it. And I think people are just like, nah, this is not the country I recognize. And I'm like, yeah, tell that to the Native Americans. Anyway, so it's amazing, all of these epiphanies and these come to Jesus moments that white people are having in this country. Like, I can't believe they're treating people like this. And I'm like, minorities here, we've been treated like this for years, but it's so funny for them to be like, this is inhumane treatment. It's like, welcome to the club. But yeah, so anyway, also too, on the backs of that, the fact that appointments are going up and the amount of vasectomies are going up. So Plan B, because they're trying to come after birth control as well too and make it a state's issue. CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens has now been limiting the amount of Plan Bs that they have on the shelf.
I did see that.
But did you know that Plan B does not work if you're over 150 pounds?
I did know that because I've had this conversation with multiple people. If you are over 150 pounds, do you take 2?
I've never taken a Plan B or needed to. So I don't know. I didn't even know there was a weight requirement.
No.
I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I just, I do what I do.
That wasn't...
Which is mind my business.
And so shall you. Who knows? Neither here nor there. Don't worry about it. We're just here to bring you the facts.
Exactly.
I didn't know that until I was like probably a senior in college, maybe out of college. But I remember that coming out and everyone being like, well, what the fuck? Because I don't know if y'all know this, but in Texas, if she ain't a lady if she under 180.
I agree.
We're thick down here.
Yeah.
And
even it's the South, but
it's just the South. It's the diabetes type 2. It's the good food.
Yes.
It's the genes.
Yes, it is.
And we're not, hey, listen, we're not here to judge, but I'm telling you, where the fuck did they come out with this information? No one knew that when it first came out. Is that on the
package, though? Is that on the front of the package?
No, I only heard, where did I hear that?
Maybe it's in the ingredients portion.
I think I heard it like word of mouth, the news or something, but I remember being like, whoa, you mean everyone's been taking this and you can't even, it's not effective if you're over like 150 pounds.
Exactly. That's insane. And I think they should make that a little bit bigger on that package.
I don't know that.
Fair.
I think I only know like 2 people under 150 pounds.
I don't know anybody under 150
We're all for body positivity here. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean,
when push comes to shove.
Yeah, I just think the fact that you're limiting. There is this one company. Dang it! I wish I would have researched it before we started airing. There is this one company that offers Plan B like pills or whatever, and they're free, and you just go on their website. You can ask for however many you need.
Oh,
and then they'll
it's
send
like
them to
a
you.
government funded program.
No, it's a for-profit program, but it was started by these like Gen Zers or whatever. Like it was a couple of millennials and Gen Zers. They started it, but I can't remember. I'll find the name of the company
on TikTok where I get all my information that you can sign up for like a California address, sign up for abortion pills, but it sends it to your whatever address. So that's how you can get it. But that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll be able to control the mail and control pills. First of all, USPS is understaffed, okay? They're not about to be going through all your shit and doing all. They're not about to do all that. So, but I just think it's crazy that you would limit birth control because people are on birth control for various different reasons and not necessarily to control birth. But it's also to, regulate
control
people's hormones,
my life and other people's life because I'm fucking homicidal if I'm not hormonally controlled.
I did see this story about this woman who had an IUD and she lived in California and she moved from California, I think, to Texas. But the thing is, she was supposed to get her IUD removed in California. And they were just like, well, this was before they overturned Roe v. Wade. And so I guess she decided to do it in Texas because of her insurance wasn't going to kick in until whatever. Well, of course, she waited until she moved here. And then Roe v. Wade got overturned. So now she's like, where the hell do I get my IUD removed?
Wait, they're not taking it out?
No.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Because it's birth control.
But what does that have to do? No, wait, huh?
Apparently her appointment, I don't know if it was through Planned Parenthood or what, but her appointment to get her IUD removed was canceled because now they're just like, well, we don't know what we can do. And I think a lot of these doctors, too, are in limbo because they don't know what laws are going to affect them.
Yeah, did you hear about that mother who they told her that her pregnancy was
ectopic.
It was like acephaly or something. Like the baby would keep growing, but the brain would not be viable for life. But she wanted to hold on to the baby. She held on. Roe v. Wade was turned over. She started hemorrhaging, went to the hospital, and the doctor was like, I gotta call the lawyer because I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
9 hours.
Can you imagine bleeding out? 9 hours as this man's on the, and like it's no one's fault because
except for the government.
Because if I was a doctor as well, I would do the same thing. I'm not losing my entire license, my livelihood, all of these things until I know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But she's dying.
Right.
Because she wanted to hold on to her baby that was growing inside of her actively.
Yeah.
And then there's all these nurses on TikTok now that are saying like, hey, you don't understand what it's like to be like, hey, your baby will never be viable, but we can't terminate it. So you will keep growing. You will keep looking pregnant. You will have to go through this life looking 6 months, 8 months pregnant. And everybody asking you and you knowing that your baby will not make it out of you.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't fucking imagine.
It's horrible. And that's one of the reasons why, too, I don't know if we said this on the last podcast or not, but this allegedly a 14-year-old Gen Zer, which I love Gen Z, they leaked the Supreme Court justices' phone numbers, their addresses, and their credit card information, and have been, I guess there's this term called doxing. Never heard of it before until I got on TikTok. Kids. And I guess it's basically revealing people's real names, their real identities, for the purpose of harming them to a degree. And so a 14-year-old allegedly was the one who doxed the Supreme Court justices and released their information, which I think is hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Don't throw the rock and hide your hand, and then try to fight off the consequences. So
throw the rock and hide your hand.
Never heard of it before.
I've never heard of that. Never been to Uber driver.
It's almost just like, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. But don't throw the rock and then hide your hand. Try to play victim now. Don't do that. But yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what else happened for the Supreme Court. They actually, I don't know what the name of it was, but the Supreme Court has now voted to keep prayer, or reverse it, where prayer is now allowed back into the school system. How do you feel about that?
I think it should be.
But what prayers? Because you can't just say it's Christian prayers.
No, I agree.
It's also Muslim, Islamic, Buddhist.
Here's my thing.
Catholic prayers? I don't know.
Yeah, Catholic prayers.
They're different from Christian prayers.
Oh my God, I'm heartily sorry for all my sins.
And that's the one with the beads and y'all praying for like 50 minutes.
All my sins because of thy just punishments, but most of all because they offend thee, my God, who art all good and all loving.
Hail Mary, Mother of God,
of all my love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I heartily dissolve with all my...
Sounds like you're not Catholic. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know. To sin no more and to avoid the near occasion of sin. That was what we had to learn when we were in school.
Yeah, clearly you're not going to church.
The act of contrition. I'm not going to church. Here's the thing. Yes, prayer in school.
Yes.
Everyone should be like, how can you practice something outside of your school that you're supposed to live your life by and then not do it in school at all? But that means that everyone should be allowed to pray what they want to pray.
Absolutely.
But that's how you get exposed to other things, and it's not a bad thing. To be like, this is how this person prays, and this is how I pray, and it's unique and special, and this is how this person prays, and it's unique and special.
Well, I think you can't say that without bringing up the stigma when it comes to certain religions in this country, unfortunately, because the Muslim faith has been really attacked, especially since 9/11. I mean, I think people already looked at people who are Muslims in a derogatory way, but it went completely out of control after 9/11. And the fact that Muslims in this country were being attacked at alarming rates because of their religion. I have an aunt who is my mother's sister, and she left the Christianity, the faith of Christianity, and she is a Muslim. Ever since I've been born, she's been a Muslim. She wears the hijab. She doesn't wear it all the time, but when she goes to temple, she will wear the traditional garb and everything. And of course, because she's a black woman, people don't look at her as quote unquote Muslim. But then there are a lot of black women who do wear the traditional garb and, they quote unquote look like Muslims. But I think even too, this law that they overturned are basically saying, well, yeah, prayer is allowed back in schools. I can almost guarantee you parents are going to flip their shit when they realize that their children are being taught Muslim prayers or participating in or being able to view that. And like you said, be exposed to it. Oh no, I'm fine with any other religion except for Muslims or Islam and blah, 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 because it's been so stereotyped and it's been so bashed because of 9/11. And it's like, Muslims are the same as Christians and Catholics and Buddhists and Islam. It's a religion at the end of the day. The Muslim religion does not teach people to kill.
Correct.
It doesn't. The same way fucking Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't know if he's Catholic or not, but he could be Catholic. Are you going to say ban Catholic people because this man because that's his chosen religion? People make decisions that are not conducive to human life, and it does not have anything to do with a particular religion. And just because one Muslim may be extreme does not mean that all Muslims are extremists.
Right. If
they're
then.
Not. Huh?
If then. It's not
exactly
one or all.
Exactly.
The more you expose your children to different people, ethnicities, religions, the more they understand there are different types of people, but that doesn't mean we are that different. Just because you practice something differently. And I feel like that can also make you more confident, independent, proud of your specific heritage. Yeah. But there's this fear of, they're learning that and they're going to know that and then they're going to want that.
And that's what comes into play when you talk about fear of other people. If you look things that you don't understand, you can't demonize it. You can be afraid of it. That's okay. But demonizing it is the problem. So for example, we can take white versus black. White people can look at black people and say, oh, they're this, they're that. No, you just don't understand black culture. You don't understand black people. And so that's why you look at us very different. Or if a black person looks at an Asian person and says, oh, no, it's just you don't understand. You fear what you don't understand.
How much harder is that when you're like, oh, my parents are saying this about, Jimmy from class, but Jimmy, I like him and we do the same math and we watch the same shows and we have fun together. So really, how different are they?
Exactly.
How different are we?
Exactly. And it takes the child, unfortunately, to be more mature than the parents to understand that concept.
So I'm like, put the prayer back in school. Let everyone realize that everyone is different. We have different prayer types.
Yeah.
Why don't you be strong in your home, strong and respectful about what your religion or your preference or your creed, whatever the hell it is, and teach your child how to be respectful outside of the house.
Because you want that same respect for your religion.
Exactly.
So
and when they come home, you answer their questions like they're an adult.
Yeah. You have to give other religions the same respect that you expect from them. And just because you don't understand their religion does not mean that you get to demonize it and taunt them and take it away from like the exposure of your child, like you said, because it's going to make your child a well-rounded person to understand that they may believe something different than I believe, but at the very core of all religions is to be a good person and treat people well.
And ask your child what they believe, and it may not be the same as you.
Exactly.
But just, you have questions about this? Let's learn about it together. Let's figure it out. Let's talk to the parents of that child and see if they're welcoming to us, learning about them.
Absolutely.
I need everyone to be open and well-rounded and respectful. Thank you. That's all I need. Put the prayer back in school. Prayer is a beautiful thing. You're so connected to something above you and you're worshiping it and praising it, and it's supposed to fill you up and make you happy, and you're supposed to radiate that happiness to other people to make the world a better place. Nothing about that is bad.
Well, I have to play devil's advocate to a degree. Then you have the people who are atheists. What do? And they teach their children that there is no God. Then that's not fair for them.
You can believe that there is no God.
But if you put prayer in, who are you praying to?
I don't know. They can pray to whoever the fuck they want. My kid's gonna come home and pray to my fucking God. that I taught them to pray to.
Exactly.
But also, don't you think that and again, I don't have kids. I don't know how it works. Intricately works. Yeah. But to me, I'm thinking like, you have to teach your kids that we believe this and we love this and this fills us up and this is what makes us. This is what drives us, but there are people who believe that this does not exist, and they're still full, happy, good people,
prospering people.
That has to be taught. There's this idea that it's God or nothing,
right?
It's good or nothing.
Yes,
it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to judge them. I'm here to tell you, this is what we do. This is what we like. This is what I did. Yeah. And we're going to be respectful and acknowledge and tolerant and...
Because there's no grace. You think... like
grace.
You assume, not you personally, but just people in society assume that because I believe it, it has to be you too. And that's not the case. Like, you want respect and you want the freedom to believe what you want to believe, but you don't want to give it to anybody else because in your brain, everything that you think is just law. And that's not the case. There are other people who have different religions. Even my mom and I, for example, and not to cut you off, I'm sorry. My mom and I, we've had these conversations, especially when I start to delve into research about hoodoo. Okay.
Don't know how you do the voodoo that you do.
Not voodoo, hoodoo.
Oh, okay.
Hoodoo is different from voodoo, but they're similar. I don't know. I'm still learning. But here's the thing. In the Black Christian church, a lot of the same principles and practices that are done in the Black Christian church are also done with hoodoo. Guess which religion is older?
Hoodoo.
Thank you. So then this ideology, even you got Church of God in Christ, you got Baptist, you got AME, you got Pentecostal, Apostolic, all of these different denominations. But at the very core, a lot of the same things that people who practice hoodoo do, Black Christians do the same thing. And even I was talking to my mom, she was like, can't be. I was like, research it. Just one simple thing, wearing white on a particular Sunday. Like, we all know white means, like, the color white means purity, right?
Yeah.
But
unless you're Indian, the color white means death.
No way.
That's what they wear to funerals.
They wear white, really?
See, isn't that so interesting?
Yeah, and children need to learn that.
And children need to learn that because it's not bad, it's different.
It's different, exactly.
What we think and we believe, other people may think and believe for something completely different, and that's not bad of them. That's just different.
It's just different for us.
Acknowledge the difference.
Yes, and don't try to persuade or sway someone to think like you. This is why we're such a melting pot as human beings in this universe because we are so different. And the minute you try to cast that down and say, well, no, you're not allowed to have X, Y, and Z, you're stunting your own growth. You're stunting your own creativity at the same time. It's indirectly affecting you.
My perspective has always been that I do not know everything. I know what I've been taught. I know what I've researched. I know what I've learned. And you can feel any way about anything. You have to always be open and receptive to other people, but you can stay true to what the fuck you believe.
Absolutely.
And you can always say, that sounds great, but I truly in my heart believe and feel this way. And if you would like to learn, I would love to teach you because it's beautiful and I think everyone could benefit from it.
Exactly.
But it is not your job to go and just domesticate the masses and convert them to what you're believing.
No, not at all. Because I think it's
because there's no free will in that.
Because nobody does it to you.
The whole part of anything is that person feels so compelled to follow what you're following, and it's a choice for them.
Absolutely. And it's
I could go on
quote
for
unquote free will. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. But I think it's going to spark some controversy because those radical parents who think all Muslims are extremists, that they're going to end up telling like, no.
I'm just going to tell you people out there that I went to Catholic school for a very long time. And I know people who went to Catholic school for a very long time. And I know a good amount of kids that I went to school with that are now atheist or agnostic because religion was shoved down their throat.
Oh, yeah.
And if you just relax on your children and let them explore things and explain things to them, they're very receptive to what you're giving to them. Because it comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
Like, if I love you as my parent and you're telling me that you love this certain religion and it's worked for you and you would love that for me, I'm probably going to be more receptive than you just shoving it down my throat, not telling me why, and telling me everything else is bad.
Well, I think, too, sometimes I believe that certain parents don't want their children to explore different religions because they don't want to have to explain why theirs works for them.
That's true.
And also, too, you don't want your children to have a different belief system than you do, which they're going to find out either way.
Right.
But just because you fear religion doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just different from what you practice. And it's okay that your child wants to explore that. Because, I mean, not that I'm trying to change from Christianity, but I think a lot of the religions that we were shunned from as black people, because, they always say, oh, black people, Christianity was not your original, faith. And when you start doing your own research for yourself and start having personal relationships with God or whomever you serve, even just doing the research, like, am I praying to the wrong person? And not saying that God is the wrong person to pray to, but just in the sense of where did these religions come from? And you start to dissect, and exegete the scriptures and all that kind of stuff, but yeah.
That's like RumSpringa. You heard of it?
Who?
RumSpringa? RumSpringa.
Simma. Who got the keys to my bimma? Who am I? The girl, them lover, sugar? No, what is that? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disrespect. What is that?
RumSpringa, the Amish people, right? Or is it the Quakers?
You can't ask me. I don't even know what rum digger is. What is it? Rum sugar?
Rum sugar. I hate you. Hold on.
Watermelon sugar.
It's actually when Harry Styles goes out. RumSpringa is when in the Amish community you are allowed to, at a certain age, go out into like the world, right, and like see technology and people and how the real world is operating. And the idea is that you see how it is out there and you come back and you're like, no, I like it in here.
Yeah, you either like it or you realize I've been lied to.
Well, and that's my thing too with religion is that when you have a solid foundation of anything, you see other things and you're like, I accept that, but no, I like it in here.
Yeah.
So if we just
I think they should do that in every religion.
If we strong foundation at home, whatever you believe in, if you just love your children and bring them up and just like, this is what we believe and this is why and we enjoy it and it's brought this to our lives, then even when you're exposed to all these different things, you can accept it and appreciate it for what it is. But you're like, I still find solace in this.
It's very similar to like the scripture in the Bible for Christianity, where it says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. Which means, yes, you can go out into this world and explore, but the foundation, like you said, the foundation of who you are and what you've learned, those core, morals and values, they're still going to be in you. So even if you go out into the world and act a straight fool, you're still going to be able to come back.
Prodigal son, come on back.
Exactly. You're going to be able to come back and know what's right from wrong. But RumSpringa, I think that's amazing.
Yes, RumSpringa.
I never knew they allowed their children to do that.
Yeah, they do. I don't even know if I've just seen it colloquially.
Is that the show TLC, like Returning Amish? Or
kind of.
Whatever?
It occurs between the ages of 17 and 21.
That's awesome.
And they get to go out into the world and
lose their minds one good time.
and see how evil the world is.
Yeah.
They can drive vehicles, wear non-traditional clothing, not attend home prayer, drink and use recreational drugs.
No way. Ooh, that can be
They can let their freak flag fly. And there was an episode of Law and Order where this guy went out on RumSpringa, met this girl, and then something happened to the girl, and they had to go back to the Amish community, and they were like,
I wonder what's the ratio of people that actually return back to those lives, or if they do a mixture of the two, like, you know.
I don't have the research to back this up.
They RumSpringa on
but
the
I would
weekends.
assume that a good majority of them go back.
Yeah.
Because that's shell shock.
That is.
Unless you're like a strong, confident person, that's a culture shock.
But even if you are, you're being exposed to the internet and TV and boobs and hips, legs and hips and
that's a lot.
And weed. Come on.
Alcohol.
Oh my God. That
All
that can be very detrimental. And like, come on. Sorry, y'all. My watch just keeps going
very
on.
Popular.
But anyway, so going back to that, we keep going on tangents. Anyway,
I love a tangent.
So there's speaking back in politics too. Did you hear that there's a new Florida law regarding your music?
My music, personally?
Well, not you, because you live in Texas.
My mixtape.
Apparently, Florida has this new law that they put into place where you can be fined up to $114 for blasting loud music.
How are they going to find someone for doing that?
Well, I'll tell you this.
That's some white, gated neighborhood shit.
Very true. But I'll tell you this. In South Florida specifically, from the Palm Beaches down, there are a group of men, okay, who drive what we call candy-coated cars.
Candy-coated car? Like ice cream paint jobs?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what they do is they get these Oldsmobiles, these Cutlasses, these Chevy Caprices, all
you
this
are really
kind of
painting
stuff.
a picture.
And they paint these things. When I say candy-coated, I'm talking pink, red, purple, blue, yellow, green. They got sitting on 22s, 26s.
Sitting on popo.
And here, right. But they don't have like hydraulics or nothing like that because we don't do that. That's California. But I'll tell you what they do. They put the speakers on the outside of the car. But that's the culture in South Florida. I remember my godsister. Shouts out to my godsister, Anita. She had an Oldsmobile, right? Hers wasn't candy coated or anything like that. It was just sitting on Oreos, which means you ain't got no hubcaps. Anyway, but this is this old school car, right? This is the car she taught me how to drive in. She had a fucking subwoofer in the back. Okay, mind you, if you go to a concert and one of the
that word in so long.
Oh, a subwoofer. She had a subwoofer and tweeters for people who are from South Florida. Tweeters in the back. Okay, anytime you could hear her before you saw her. And I remember her ex-boyfriend, he used to turn this shit all the way up, and it was this one tweeter that used to rattle. And if I was sitting in the back seat, I swear I was dying. Because I was like, can you turn it down? Can you turn it down? But literally, you will hear the bass and the boom from other people's cars. Here's the thing. I don't mind that because I blast my music. I have a subwoofer in my car as well, too. And I turn my bass all the way up. I love to feel that in the morning. Yeah. I don't care what time it is. And I don't mind other people's music because it's only going to be for a few seconds. You're only sitting at the light less than 1 minute.
I also, as a sensory
seeker,
neurodivergent person, I don't mind it because I'm like, it's just for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I'll leave.
And it's not going to be consistent.
I'm also like, why is your music so loud? You can calm the fuck down. But also, like, who gives a fuck?
Listen, depending on what kind of job you got, you need that bass in your life. Because, baby, that's the only thing that keeps you sane to get to work.
You used to listen to hard-ass rap on the way to
work.
I
used to Kevin Gates, Lil Jon.
Yeah, she'd always be like, I was listening to Kevin Gates on the way to work. Absolutely. And I was like, that's why you're so angry in the morning.
No, it calms you, though. Like, when you get to get that aggression out so early in the morning, you don't take it out on your patients or your coworkers.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, and you get to, and even too, I don't care if it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Boom, 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 boom. It's the best feeling in the world.
I listen to jazz in the morning.
You're weird. You're not weird. You're just protecting your mental space. That's great. I can listen to like classical music going to sleep, but in the morning, and this is probably why I drive the way I did, which is not very good sometimes, especially if you're listening to certain songs like back in the day, listening to Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, you'll get yourself killed.
In the East Side Boys.
Even Ludacris, move, bitch.
Get out the way.
Don't listen to that song while you're driving. You're going to crash into somebody.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Watch out. I'm about to knock your lights out.
I
Get
agree.
the fuck back. God,
We
you
have okay. So I watched a TikTok about brown noise. Have you heard about it?
No, what's brown noise?
Bitch. So brown. So have you heard of white noise?
Yeah. I listen to white noise.
I hate white noise.
I don't like it either to go to sleep.
And I never knew why I didn't like it. And so I watched this video, and this girl was like, I have ADHD, and I listen to brown noise, and it's like so white noise is all frequencies at all times. It's just playing.
Okay.
Brown noise takes the high frequency out.
So it's like low?
It's lower, and it kind of sounds like maybe like a running river, like a beach or something. It's like a toned down
like a
white
beach
noise.
Was white noise.
No. White noise is like traffic.
Can you play an example so we can show
I can.
Like our
Let me read
listeners?
you the differences first.
Yeah.
White noise machines work through a process called sound masking or noise masking. They create a blanket of sound around you that absorbs other sound waves so that little creaks and cracks, cars driving by, don't make it to your brain and you don't respond to them. Okay. That's white noise.
That's white noise.
We don't like that. Okay, so white noise is similar to a radio tuned to an unused frequency. Brown noise contains less bass, and it's a rumble. People say it sounds like strong winds, a rushing river, pounding surf, and it's more soothing. It's good for like concentration and relaxation. So
What is pink noise?
Pink noise is between white and brown. It improves sleep. It mimics brain waves during your slow wave
I want to
stage
hear the
during
difference.
sleep.
The definitions aren't giving a difference between them. I don't feel
It prolongs sleep and memory. Okay, so lucky for you, I have Spotify, so I can tell you the difference.
I have Spotify. I just don't pay for it.
What?
I get the free one.
Okay, so this is white noise. Are you ready?
Yeah.
That's like a lot.
That's like a wave.
Yeah, but it's like a waterfall. It's a lot.
Okay.
Or like this.
That's white noise, yes.
Yes, this is white noise.
That's what it sounds like in a plane.
Yes, okay, but this, can you hear the difference, is brown noise. It's a lower.
It's a lower frequency, yeah.
It's a lower frequency, okay?
Okay, now let's hear pink.
Because white noise freaks me the fuck out. This is pink noise.
That sounds the fucking same, bitch. That sounds like brown.
Okay, anyway, if you can hear it not on this speaker, it's very different. White noise, because white noise not excites me, but like I'm awake because I'm like, what the fuck? It's too high of a frequency.
Yeah.
Brown noise, when I put that shit on the other day, I was locked and loaded, concentrating. It was just like you were on an airplane ready to fucking go.
Because your definition said it was less bass, but it seems like brown noise puts more bass into it, like because it is a lower frequency.
Yeah. I don't know, but it just works for me. I'm just telling you what the fuck.
Pink sound the same to me, but
I think white noise has higher frequencies in it, and it's all of the noises at one time. The brown and the pink noise take out some of those. It strips some of it away. Gotcha. I cannot do white noise. I don't know how people sleep with that shit. I'm just like, it's just hearing noise and it's waking me the fuck up.
I don't like to sleep to anything but silence. I don't
really?
even like to
so
sleep
I
to
can't
rain
do pure silence.
No,
I can do pure silence if I'm in the room, but if anyone else is in the room, I cannot do pure silence.
Why? It freak you out?
Yeah, like why is it so quiet in this room with two of us?
Because we're sleeping.
It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
Oh, you're
weird. I need just like a hum, like the AC going, the fan going, and that's what brown noise is.
Listen, when I be knocked out. It could be a whole march band. I'm knocked out.
Really?
But then
automatically you just fall asleep though.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep.
What
like
the
that?
Fuck?
That's why I take naps all the time because it's easy for me to fall asleep. Like I won't hear big noises, but I can hear you opening my room door and the sound that the door makes over the carpet. I hear that.
Well, that's why I fall asleep with the TV on. And did you see the study about people that fall asleep with the TV on die faster?
Right, because you're stimulated. You're stimulated.
Yo, I sleep with the TV on every fucking night. That's how I fall asleep. That's my pink noise.
You're gonna die in 2 days.
You're die in 7 days.
Oh my God,
do you remember that?
Yes.
Dude, I watched this TikTok, of course. What else do I watch? This guy was talking about when The Ring came out, that there were no like previews, no PR drops or anything. They just received like this package of a bunch of VHS tapes and like flyers for the Ring movie, and he took the movie home and watched it, and it was like the Samara movie where she comes out of the fucking well.
TV, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it comes out of the well.
Comes out of the well and comes out of the TV.
She comes out of the TV first, and then towards the end, she comes out of the well. Yeah.
How scary.
It's crazy. But yeah, I don't sleep to anything. And I can't have noise. Like even when it rains, I hate when it rains because I'm sleepy, but I can't sleep to the sound of rain and thunder. It's annoying. Yeah. It's so, I can't sleep to music. I can't sleep to, like I can sleep to music enough for it'll relax me, but then I have to turn that shit off. I can't do it's like the flashing, almost like how people have seizures when they have all that flashing. Yeah. I can't do that.
If you're having trouble sleeping and you hate white noise, try brown noise. Or pink noise, brown or pink. It's been working for me.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
It's just like a hum, like the AC hum.
Gotcha.
Is what it's giving. Like a noise so you're not in silence and can't hear shit outside, but not anything that you can like... Because sometimes music's hard to sleep with because you pick up on the tunes or your lyrics or whatever,
There's this one, I did see that there's this one, the quietest room on earth, and it's in the United States, but they were saying that people literally can't last longer than like a few minutes in there because it's so quiet, you can literally hear yourself breathing and you can hear your heartbeat.
You probably start fucking hyperventilating.
Yeah, you start to hear like all your body's movements and you're just like, that's too quiet.
It's too quiet. I don't need all that.
Yeah, I think the longest part, don't quote me on this, but I think the longest person only lasted 16 minutes in this room.
I hate being in quiet houses. I don't like. I need the TV on. I need some kind of noise.
Some people go insane in jail, in prison. You can't be away from
Yeah, no, I need things
like
going on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what have you been watching?
Umbrella Academy.
I finished it.
Ever heard of it?
I finished it. I did. I watched it in 2 days. I started it Friday night.
What the hell?
And then I finished it. I actually started it Thursday, and then I finished it on Friday night.
How does it end? I don't even know what's going on right now.
It's good. There's a lot of twists and turns to it. They go back and forth, of course, like they did on the last 2 seasons. Okay. It better be a season 4 because the way they ended it, it has to be a season 4. Absolutely.
I like the beginning of like how it's starting and how Ellen Page is now Elliot Page for real in the show. Yeah. All of that stuff. But I just like don't know where they're going. I'm like, yeah. Like
you're gonna not know where they're going for a minute until probably like the 7th episode.
No way.
Yeah, but but the twists and turns that they have are actually good. Like it's not like
it just seems very like that was like plot point in episode 2. So then what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, every episode it changes. Really? Every single episode. So it's really good. It's a really good series. A really good season. I just hate that I binged it because I'm like, damn, now I gotta wait a whole nother year for season 4.
Yep. I need to start. Well, finish that, and then I gotta start.
Don't say
Stranger Things. I do want to start Peaky Blinders.
I do want to start Stranger Things too because people are talking a lot about that stuff that's happening in Stranger Things is actually happening now, and I'm like,
ooh, okay, yeah. So I want to start Stranger Things because everyone's talking about it, and then I need to start Peaky Blinders, but I want to sit down and have time.
Yeah.
So I haven't started it yet.
I did start this documentary.
Of course you did.
Because I love documentaries. On Netflix, it's called Civil. And it's a documentary about Benjamin Crump. He's a lawyer. He's a civil rights activist, a civil rights lawyer. He's actually in Tallahassee, Florida. That's where his base office is.
That's where you're not from, but close.
Yeah, where I went to the college, and he was at everywhere. But Crumpson, what was it? Crumpson something. He had a partner, but Crumpson something was his law firm.
Crumps.
No, Crumpson Parks. Parks and Crumps. That's what it was. Parks and Crumps was the law firm. Anyway, so he basically is he's this high profile civil rights lawyer. But what you really don't realize is that only 5% of the cases that his company actually takes are civil rights cases.
Really?
Yeah, but people just see him when
they don't make the money, huh?
They don't. And two, and I think that's the same thing that he was saying because he went on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about how people keep assuming he's this ambulance chaser, like, oh, a black child dies at the hands of the law, call Ben Crump, and he's like, there's no money in here that I'm actually getting. Like these cases, first of all, take years. And what he actually does is he's going after laws to be changed as a result of, unfortunately, someone dying. Like even with, he's been seen with Trayvon Martin's family, what was it? Mike Brown, Breonna Taylor. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. Sandra Bland's family, Ahmaud Arbery's family as well too. And so, but what he's doing is, as he's coming on to these cases, because literally he was saying his office gets about 3,000 calls a day with cases that people want. Yes, but he's like, he has a civil team that works on these cases, but he also does corporate America cases.
He has to. That's where the money is, honey.
Exactly. So, and he was telling me, he was like, because he was on there with, what's her name? Teslin. I think it's Teslin
Angela Yee?
No, Tesla Figueroa. She's also a civil rights like commentator, and she was basically, I don't know if she's a lawyer or not. She may be a lawyer, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, but it's basically following his life as a family man, like following his wife, his child.
Wow.
You know, his mom is in the documentary as well too. So it was a really good documentary, almost to kind of humanize him, because I think when you see this political person, you just automatically think, oh, that's all he's about is just trying to get money. But it's like, these families don't get any money.
No.
Like, civil cases do not. They're not any. Even if you get a $20 million settlement, first of all, the settlement is going to be. It's not going to be all at once. You're not going to get $20 million all at once.
No.
It's
tax. You got to pay everything off. You got to pay. Yeah.
So you're not. He's not making any real money. Now, does he probably get something from it?
Hell yeah.
I'm quite sure, but it's not enough to keep his firm, into revenue for real like that. Because I mean, even look at the Ahmaud Arbery case. Look how long it took. How many years it took.
It took forever.
Even with George Floyd's family, but I do think that he is a prominent person that can come in and like almost like the modern day. I don't want to say Al Sharpton, because I really believe that Al Sharpton was an ambulance chaser, and I just don't. I do. And maybe it's because I don't know everything about Al Sharpton, but I just feel like Al Sharpton is the Negro that they bring in to shush all the rest of the black people, and I don't like that.
He's like the voice of reason, quote unquote.
Exactly. Like when the Negroes get out of control, call that Al Sharpton guy, call the preachers so they can settle them down. That's what they used to do anyway, too. They used to try to bring Martin Luther King in to shush down all the people. What they didn't realize, Martin Luther King wants change, or wanted change, when he was alive. Anyway, neither here nor there. But I am watching. It's a really good documentary called Civil, and it's about Benjamin Crump and the work that he does. So some of the cases will make you upset because it's unfortunately bringing back up some of this stuff, but it is humanizing him in a way that's really, really dignifying, I think. So yeah,
not the same at all, but on the Kardashians.
Okay.
The new season.
Yeah.
So here's my issue with the Kardashians now when I watch it.
Oh, you have an issue with your people?
I'm very tied between, they're doing a very good job making them all look like they're doing things.
Yeah.
Especially Kim. Like, they're doing a very good job highlighting her law school and the shit she's done for incarcerated, like wrongfully incarcerated people on death row, which is a good thing.
Right.
But now I'm tied between, like, are you really doing this, or were you just making it seem like you're really doing this for the cameras?
I mean, I think her real reasoning for doing it kind of doesn't matter to a degree.
Because it's still a good thing.
It's still a good, and I think if you're gonna use your celebrity for anything, that should be the thing. And I think also too, like the legacy of her dad. Her dad was an amazing lawyer, So I've heard, but I mean,
we've seen with OG.
I mean, but that was really Johnny Cochran. I mean, he didn't really do much. That was all Johnny Cochran right there. What did Kim Kardashian daddy say?
Because if we remember anything, it's if the glove doesn't fit,
you must have quit. That was all Johnny Cochran. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he wasn't an asset to the team. I'm just saying that nobody remembers their dad.
But they do highlight in this season the work she's doing with wrongly incarcerated people and trying to free people, and I was just like, ugh, that is such, like, these stories are so sad.
They are.
That is such hard work. And she's literally just like cold calling very rich and famous people, being like, you're not doing shit, please get on social media and say something, please.
But that's the way you should use your celebrity. If you're going to use your celebrity for anything, it should be for that.
Yeah.
It really should.
I just get tied up because I'm half foot in, half foot out. I'm like, yeah, like, I think all of this is good, but also you're on this reality show, and I'm like, how much of this is actually real?
First of all, who's going to hire Kim as a real lawyer, and who's going to be able to afford her? Is my point.
Can you imagine the prices?
She's not going to be a public defender. Can you imagine if she's a public defender?
No.
So she will, even if she becomes a lawyer, passes her bar, she will never practice. And even if she does practice, it won't be. No one is going to take her seriously because of who she is. And she doesn't have to be a lawyer. Like, why? You're already a millionaire. Why the hell would you? I mean,
why do you want to work if you don't have to work, girl? Girl, let's talk about it.
You got all this money, you don't know what to do with it. Anyway, neither here nor there. Anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all make sure y'all be safe. I know y'all. Well, by the time this comes out, 4th of July would have already been passed.
Happy past 4th of July.
I don't subscribe to that, but do what y'all do. Don't blow your fingers off because you're gonna need occupational therapy.
You will occupational hand therapy. I saw this tweet that was like, shout out to all the people who don't know tonight's the last night they'll have all 10 fingers.
Very true. Don't blow off your fingers.
Be careful.
And I know people, you people out there are going to continue to blast off these firecrackers well until next week. Well, at least in the state of Texas.
Don't think of the dogs. Think of the puppies.
Think about people who are trying to get sleep and stop popping shit at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just
finger popping each other's assholes.
Finish it at least 10 p.m. and call it a night. Please, y'all. And clean up your damn trash.
Yeah.
All them damn. I know my name. I'm telling you, I got security cameras. Every piece of stuff, every single year that they do this shit, I go right out there like the rude old neighbor, and I sweep all that shit out of my yard and put it right in the street.
There you go.
It don't belong to me, motherfuckers. Anyway, all right, y'all. Don't forget to spread love,
spread light, and don't forget to laugh your face off. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at The Face Off Pod. Be sure to tune in to The Face Off every Tuesday where new episodes are released.